It's honestly, I think it's a disadvantage in some ways, but we are doing our very best with it. And it's not a disadvantage for us because we get to create memories and we get to love it. I think it's a disadvantage in what the ways that people think it would be an advantage for us. We don't get extra time.
So now that obviously you've had partners that you were not romantically involved with, and then you have Brian. So would you say that it's an advantage or a disadvantage, being in a relationship with your partner?
It's a tough question. Honestly, it's almost a disadvantage. We have this sensitivity. We're minding each other's feelings. We want to make sure our relationship is good outside of it. That's always going to be priority for us. People are expecting this intense chemistry all the time on the dance floor. And if it's not there, then people are like, they don't have chemistry. And it's like, dance is so different. You know what I mean? And we'd have amazing chemistry in life. And some of our dances, like I think Rumba and our Foxtrot, we had amazing chemistry. But then once it gets hard, you can't judge us now as a dance couple and as a relationship. Right. Like that's really hard to be judged as both because we can't mind both for you. We can't manage both for you. We can only do it for us. So it's honestly, I think it's a disadvantage in some ways, but we are doing our very best with it. And it's not a disadvantage for us because we get to create memories and we get to love it. I think it's a disadvantage in what the ways that people think it would be an advantage for us. We don't get extra time. We don't naturally just steam up the dance floor all the time. This is pressure on our relationship that we then have to manage for us. So it's intense, girl.
Yeah, I was gonna say it has to be a lot of pressure because like you said, people are expecting this chemistry, but then also like you had to, clap back at haters because if you give them a little too much, they're like, oh, this is a showmance or this is too much PDA.
You know what I'm shocked at? That the amount of people that just don't like seeing love. You know what I mean? It's like, oh, they kissed too much. Oh, I'm so over it. We kissed one time on the first show because, oh my God, we survived and we actually did a dance. You know what I mean? Like, we're a real life couple, and I think it's also different for our viewers to see. They people pull out this showmance line, and it's like, sure, I understand when you say that about, say, people that are on the show and you're like, are they or aren't they? But this didn't start on the show. This is real life love. And that's what makes it so hard for us too. This is real life. So I don't know, people either love seeing me in love or they're kind of not that, don't want to see me in love. They just want to see dancing. But to each their own. I can't help it. I'm in love. We're in love. We can't hide it. It's literally a part of every single step that we do. But I guess we've tried to not kiss on TV as much so people don't get weird about it.
You said, last week got a little stressful. Is it hard for you guys not to bring the dance home with you, or do you kind of shut it down when you get home and be like, all right, that all stays on the dance floor?
That's the reason we have to shut it down and leave it at the studio. And there's been one or two times where we'll talk about it at home if it was a stressful day, just so we can clear it. But we know that no matter what happens in that studio, that is a different role for us. That is a completely different world. It's a bubble of something else. And when we come home, we just have to be Brian and Sharna in a relationship. And yeah, for me, sometimes that is hard because normally in the season, I'm 24/7 thinking about this, and I'll come home and watch the videos and do the notes, and I'll do prepping for the next week and research for the next week. So I don't ever really step away from it. So it's really me that has to be conscious and mindful of not bringing the work home and doing my notes and being like, hey baby, I'm going to need you to point your foot on 5 or whatever. You know what I mean? Like, I've got to leave him alone so he can get the air from it. And I think it's really me that's learning that the most. I think because I am so obsessive about it and I love it so much. If he's in front of me, I just want to fix it and say it now.
Sure.
So that's my learning curve, but it helps. We have to come home and just love each other and then fix the rest when we get back into the studio.
We have to talk about this beautiful campaign that you were doing, but it's also raising awareness for something that I know is super important to you. So tell me all about working with PETA for this anti-SeaWorld campaign.
Gosh, it's really important to me because I've been an animal lover since I was a kid. And as a kid, I wasn't aware of what these marine parks were doing to these animals. I went to SeaWorld, I saw Shamu, I thought it was amazing. And then I grew up and I learned just what these animals go through with, you know, for example, they have like 35,000 feet in the ocean and they have 35 feet in that pool. And you know, when you learn that it really is torturous for them and the way that they forcibly breed their dolphins and impregnate them, it really is. If you imagine being a human in that situation, it's heartbreaking. And I'm a huge advocate for animal rights and rescue. And oh gosh, the more I learned about it, the more it broke my heart. It broke my heart that I was a part of the problem in the beginning. And now it makes me very passionate about being a part of the solution for it.